Hey there everyone, as you're aware this is grllll, and today might be a little shorter than usual, back to having roughly a page of questions rather than 1,000,005. So let us go, let's just not lose time, and no first question is exactly about that. Oh, by the way, last time I thought there weren't a lot of questions, some of them didn't get to me. If that's the case, get back to me and give me your question again, sometimes it happens. I explained this before in the past, but the way I gather these is that normally when I get a message on Patreon, it gets sent over to a special folder in my Gmail account. Except there was a time where they didn't all get sent for some reason, and I might have missed. So just putting that out there in case it happened, like it's not because I'm trying to be mean or anything. You know, it's just sometimes it happens, unfortunately. Computer's not perfect! Now, Cal, when do you think you'll make a nice brief video again? Or is the length dictated by the amount of Q&As? Asks Safari Crook. Yeah, it is entirely dictated by the questions. Like, the only... Basically, yeah. It's not my intention to make the videos super huge, but I think it's important that everyone gets some kind of answer. Even people who... No, even if they're not, like, real question, like, some people are asking stuff that are a bit more, like, you know, things they want to know, and other people are like, oh, I want to make a joke about this, and everyone, you know, you paid a tiny amount of money, or a big amount of money, depending on some of you, and regardless, like, you need to get some kind of, you know, bang for your buck, I believe, and so that's why I am going to address everything that people send me. As simple as that. So yeah, it is the only reason why the videos have been so long is due to the incredibly huge amount of questions, and also questions that require a lot of thought and time to answer sometimes. So, because yeah, I remember in the first video I was like, you know, oh, it'll be like 10-15 minutes, and that has not been the case in a while. Do you have a favorite summer activity? Asks Alain. Not particularly, although as some of you might know or might have surmised, I like being inside water, so I get to swim sometimes, but that hasn't happened in a little bit, actually. Otherwise, I just like how pleasant it is. No, just getting outside, like, without having to wear a coat or anything. You know, finding a nice, shady place and reading a book or something. That's just, like, that's the greatest thing. It's not just because of, because it's warm enough to be able to do that, but if you're a student or something, you suddenly actually have the time to do, basically do nothing. And, like, when I say do nothing, doesn't mean just, like, vegging out and watching TV or something. Like, being able to properly do nothing and making the most of that is amazing and super useful. Nothing will recharge your batteries quite like not doing anything properly. Because if you're just kind of, like, sitting down and watching TV or something, like, yeah, you're not doing anything, that's accurate, but at the same time, you're not energizing, You're not, and then you're not working your brain, you're not working through your fatigue or anything, you're just not doing anything. That's not super useful. You doing nothing is an art, and nothing like the summer to really practice it and make the most out of nothing. Which video, because that's what you wrote, which video game series would you like to see resurrected? Also, could you attempt to say this, a phrase I'm going to say soon, asks Mikofire. Okay, let's give this a try here. Hey Kaiki Mina Olen Raukau. I'm probably screwed up the Mina because there is an umlaut over the A, and I'm not sure which language this is. In French, if you see an umlaut, that means you pronounce the vowel as if it was not modified by the other vowels around it, or consonants, like sometimes happens. But I don't know the language here, so I don't know, so I tried my best. Video game series that could stand to be resurrected? Well, obviously the answer is Iggy's Wrecking Balls. Actually, I think it'd be cool to see something like Earthworm Jim back. Like, I'm aware the games are kind of what they are, but there was so much imagination and weirdness in those games. I'd love to see them tackled again. Of course, like, when they tried to do Earthworm Jim 3D, and I know, like, the gameplay was mediocre, and the graphics were kind of terrible, but really what I thought was the most unfortunate about that game, which I've never played, mind you, but it had like none of the actual imagination behind it. I felt like Earthworm Jim games are super weird. Sometimes I feel like I should maybe let's play them. Probably not soon, but maybe just for my own nostalgia's sake, and to see if they hold up. Because in my brain, from when I played them when I was a teenager, the humor back then was extremely rare in video games. Like, it still is kind of rare, by which I mean, like, good humor is still kind of like a precious resource in video games that must be harnessed and stocked away to be kept forever. They're so rare. And I mean, okay, there are exceptions, like games that are entirely about the writing, like Earthbound and, you know, Tim Schafer point and click stuff, and yeah, but I mean like video game where the focus is on gameplay of some kind, like platformer and action game that is also funny. That does not happen very often, and I just felt they just nailed it, because also it's a lot of weird, like, it's humor due to weirdness, to very surreal imagery, and like with very, 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 very small amount of words. Like, the only words we got are strange and kooky, punny sometimes, like, title of levels, and that's about it. Although I remember the manual for Earthworm Jim 2 being kind of amazing in its writing. But at the time, at least, like, I have no idea if it holds up. And I'd be curious to give it a try, honestly. You know, see if it survives. But yeah, if there's one series I would like to see revive, I guess that would be it. I think that's a fair thing to wish for in this day and age of people just resurrecting things through Kickstarter. You know, so that we will forever be playing the exact same video games for the rest of our life. It is now confirmed. But since it's from our old time instead of being recent game, it makes it okay, right? Here's a bunch of questions by one guy called Pizza Pony. Favorite color? I bet it's blue. Not quite. It's green, but it's not just any green. I like all greens actually, but my absolute favorite kind of hinge on the blue, but no, it's actually green. Sorry. Have you ever thought about being in a Skype call with brwll John during one of his streams? I have no doubt that he would add you in, no question asked, so long as schedule lined up. Best way to contact him, that would be a Twitch PM. Not really. I don't think I would play very well. Play as in would do a very good job of being in the stream with a well-known internet type. Like, if you've ever saw me in the collaborative videos, like the Sonic 3 race, or like some of the Worms video I've been in, I tend to be a lot more low-key when I'm around people, and the entire entertainment ship of a video doesn't simply hinge on me. So, I don't think I'd be able to hang. 3. Isn't it weird that Wonka came to be a real-life candy brand, but disappointing that they don't make chocolate bars? That is kind of amazing, actually. Weird, maybe not, but amazing, yeah. 4. Have you ever put together a model kit before, and was it worth they? Once I had for Christmas the Slave 2 Boba Ship's Fett as a model kit for some reason. I never expressed interest in model kits before, but I had that, and I tried to put it together, and at some point it all got into a mess of glue and paint inside my father's work shed, where it rotted forever, unfortunately. How many physical copies of video games across all systems do you currently own, or submit if you don't feel like counting? 3 NES, 4 think DS 20-ish Xbox. I think I'm just kind of like gross-estimating here. In my life, I've owned tons more, but like my old NES stuff, my Super Nintendo stuff, my N64 stuff, like it all was sold at some point or another in my life for various different reasons. So yeah, I think that's where I'm like most of the games I own now are digital, because why would you own anything physical at this point? But only 6, would you ever cosplay as Demo or other siblings? Because imagining a 6'5" Demo is hilarious. I don't know, maybe. I don't know. Would I ever go outside to a convention to start with? That needs to be answered first. If I had a completely different life that was extremely similar to this one, except I would have taken most of the same life choices, yet was still a little bit more outgoing, maybe. But it's actually demoing as Demo is super easy. All you need to do is find a super loose blue poncho and put a white stripe on it and wear a blue rig. So it's like the easiest cosplay ever. Maybe I wear an eye patch or something. I don't know. The head part might be a little bit more difficult now that I realize it. Are there any French-only games you know of that us English-only speakers are missing out on? Asks Connor Mastrangello. Not to my knowledge. Mind you, I'm not, super king of Euro gaming here. Like, I know extremely little about it. But as far as I can tell, I don't think that French have like any unique game to them. Like it wouldn't have happened during the era of because like any games during the old era would have an English version made, and even in this modern age, like anything someone would do on the internet would not, like, the language of the internet is more or less English. Like, yeah, you've got sites here and there that will cater to specific languages, but if you want to hit any kind of audience whatsoever, you have to expect to do it in English. That's like part 2 of why my LP series started in English, even though when I started, I wasn't nearly as confident in my oral abilities. But like part 1 being because I was doing that for something awful, which is an English site. So yeah, like if there was a French guy doing a video game that required language, it would probably have an English option. Might not even necessarily be like good English, but it would give you the option anyway, so you wouldn't really miss out. I might be wrong, mind you, and I expect to be wrong, maybe, like, but if that's the case, it's just something I outright don't know about. Like it's just completely outside of my sphere of knowledge. Alas, Well, hey internet celebrity Raocow, have you thought of LPing a Zelda 3 hack or Zelda 3 clone like Anodyne? This one I think you love because of its surreal weirdness. Ask Korakawa Otane. Yeah, sure. Parallel World is kind of bad though, and that's the one people tend to jump out of. Like, there's just not a whole lot of Zelda 3 ROM hacks, period, out there. The Talk House has been working forever on the Zelda Classic game, which, you know, if it ever gets released, probably gonna play, and it's probably be the first instance of Zelda gameplay on my channel. But yeah, it's just the reality is Zelda 3 ROM hacks are super rare. I think it has an editor at this point, but I don't know how strong it is and what the possibility are. Or you know what, maybe there are a ton of them and I just don't know where they're at. Like, that's not impossible. It's just also organizing a Let's Play like I like to do them would be a challenge. due to the way that Zelda games are structured. But I mean, that's something I'd try to answer once I get there. But yeah, for basically to summarize my answer, I'm not against the idea. It's just that one, I need to find the right time for it and find the right game for it. As for a game inspired by it, yeah, that's totally something possible. I remember you mentioning Anodyne in the request thread. It's still not impossible either. Like, we're gonna be due for a round 2 of Let's Vote for Future Stuff soon-ish. So that sort of thing will be brought back up to the headlight at this point, I believe. So yeah, maybe I know, start thinking about these things soon. Not now, of course, but maybe like around. Actually, probably like after Maggle X2, we're definitely, if it hasn't happened beforehand, definitely going to be having a round 2 of voting for stuff. So, yeah, stuff. I would love to see an Outcast LP a Zelda game or Zelda hack, says Nate Ball. Okay. Have you seen the latest Mario Maker? Have you seen the latest Mario Maker news? Smib Thwoms, Bob-Ombs, and Chain Chomps. Smoo Hammer Bros. Stupid Horse and Smibuntsm 3 Physics and Graphics. Confirm updating of entire games. New concepts and mechanics that we can implement Super Mario World. Yeah! Fusion Warrior. The problem with Super Mario Maker that I'm still waiting on is how easy is it to share stuff and how easy it is to find quality stuff. I don't care about the contents of the editor because I am absolutely certain that, like, yeah, okay, there's like past version of Thwomps and whatnot, but it's still Thwomps. It's still, it's still Bottom. It's still the same things. It's mostly things we're used to in SmibX and World, but I mean, how easy is it to share good things? How easy is it to find good things? That's what I want answered, and what Nintendo is not saying anything about yet, other than confirming that you can make Mario 1 style world, which is 8 stages of 4 level each, and upload them, but like they don't say any more than that. Oh no, I got a sneeze. I just snoozed. Also, is it just me, or is every example level that Nintendo has shown Mario Maker has been complete and utter garbage that looks borderline playable and is basically like enemy spam? I get the feeling that 99.9% of everything that'll be made in Mario Maker is gonna be that, so that's gonna be fun to sift through. See, that's the kind of thing I want to know about that is keeping me from being any amount of hype, because I have expectations. Man, only one of my questions got answered when it comes to chiptune in What? I think I probably copy-pasted this wrong, but okay. Man, only one of my questions got answered. When it comes to chiptune in music, do you think it's become just more of a novelty gimmick? How are you when it comes to associating artists as people from their work? Like, if some musician or visual artist you happen to like does something shitty, is there a point where you're unable to forgive and wait and their work becomes unenjoyable? Also, do you know of Dan Deacon? I kind of have this feeling sort of what you would like as a musician. If you guy with a really long style, but the songs are really heartfelt and moving. Zio Masada. I feel that chiptune is just an instrument choice amongst other. Like, I don't really have any opinion on chiptunes other than they're a totally viable source of instrumentation. I think it's good that it's become more acceptable to be used, but I mean, I don't really have an opinion beyond that. Like, use it well or use it not well, and you'll make something bad. Like, I don't know. I'm usually pretty good at dissociating artists from their work. Like, the fact that a piece is a masterpiece remains as such, even if the creator is a terrible person. However, there has been instances where I cannot enjoy the work of someone after someone they said or something. Yes, that's gonna happen. I can still see the quality of a work without personally being able to enjoy it. That's something I've learned to do, in art school, and it's something I believe, am able to do. However, maybe I have, my own prejudices and I just don't realize. Yeah, I don't really have any examples at hand, but it did happen. But yeah, again, I'm able to look at the importance of a work or whatever, outside of the author. But at the same time, death of the author and all that. There's something to be said about what a work says about a person, what a person says about its work. So, both analyses are entertaining and are worth exploring. It's just that, if we're talking just sheer personal enjoyment, yes, knowledge about the author will totally sometimes affect if I'm able to be entertained by their product. I'm a human that makes association between stuff because that's how my brain is rigged, because that's how every human being's brain is rigged, and that's just completely natural. I don't know who Dan Deacon is. In the Skype house, Horikawa brought up the concept of a Horikaiju, a giant Godzilla-style monster version of herself. If you were able to create a Godzilla monster-style creature to fight Horikaiju, what would you create? Also, do you have a favorite card against humanity card? Also, are you aware of the Raocow pack that Minunk made, be Kamikaze? I don't know, if I had to fight Horikaiju, I'd just use Captain Saturnus from an earlier Patreon video. I mean, it's all made there and ready in the gas station, waiting to be started up and finding a reason. So, you go. I haven't played enough Cards Against Humanity to have favorite card, which seems to be an odd thing to have. But no, I don't really have one. Also, since I don't think I ever played an official game, Card Against Humanity, but rather the kind of like the unofficial, slightly, President's Joyce Prant version you find on the internet. So, I don't really have one, and I was not aware that there was a Raocow pack, so I have learned a thing today. So today is the day that exists. So, I guess it's time for weather-based question. Do you have any particular favorite types of weather, and are there any natural disasters that interests you? Asks Sniggerbobble. I don't know. I'm not too sunny. Just a clear day with a nice breeze is the ultimate weather. Light rain is also super awesome and fun. Heavy rain actually also. If you're in a situation where you can just stay inside all day, heavy rain is probably the ultimate weather for me. Not violent storm though, just heavy rain because of the sound it makes, and when it turns the outside all gray, I think it looks super neat. So I'll go with that, I think. And I don't think there's any, I have any interest in natural disaster. I'm not sure what an interest natural disaster means. I don't want to be hit by any natural disasters, if it's possible. And, I don't know, also pretty destructive, and they exist, and we have to survive on this planet, even though natural disasters are this planet way of saying to us, hey, I don't want you here, maybe. But, this interruption was not caused by a sneeze. But yeah, I don't know, I understand what you mean by interest, how tornadoes, how they're formed and all that, how they look like from the inside and whatnot, but I mean, casual interest in most of them. I don't have any particular one that particularly interests me, I guess. It's not something I've really, put much thought into, I suppose is the best way of saying. Some of these questions are really specific. And I'm always kind of bothered by them, because it's no, I don't really, no, I never Really took the time to think about, I don't know. Have you ever considered having a Talk House podcast? Not too dissimilar to the video you're creating as you're reading this. But not quite the same as Let's Cortex. Perhaps invite board members to discuss progress on the latest ROM hacks or Smibix games or just games in general. Also, what's a talent you wish you had? A Conaroo. I'm not sure if a Talk House podcast would bring a whole lot. Like, there's not a whole lot of news regarding the Talk House, at least, to be honest. Like, sometimes it happens, but it tends to happen in, you know, like, bursts. It's not something regular enough, I believe, to be worth. Like, I understand where you're coming from with this idea, and it's not necessarily a bad idea either. I just don't see if it's worth the time investment, especially since, you know, ROM hacks. If you're interested in that, like, we would just be regurgitating information that we found on Smith Central and stuff. So, no, I get where you're going for. I don't think it would be worth the time, like, requirement. Like, doing a podcast is oddly annoying because there's a lot of you gotta put everything together, like lots of audio going together, and then, you know, it's, I don't know. I'm not seeing it. Like, I believe that with this, you kind of get an equivalent of what you'd get. Except, well, except there would be more people, so it would probably be more entertaining. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I did a podcast before, years ago, called The Plate. I mean, it was fun, but I didn't have to do any of the technical parts. All I did was show up and speak for like an hour every day. Well, every 2 weeks or so. It was fun, but I might be pursued otherwise, I guess, but it's not something I immediately see as a thing that I'd be doing. But now you've had me wondering. So I mean, that was, you know, that's the first phase. You know, the first thing, you start to make me wonder about it. So then you ask again another week, so, you know, I'm starting to lean another way, and then further in, and before you know it, Dr. Wily shows up with a paper bag. I wish I was good at playing an instrument. It's one of those skills where I really wish, you know, I love music. I wish I could make music. Sometimes I wonder about, you know, trying one of those, like, those tools you can use to make music without having to physically play an instrument. But I just never really took the time for it. But, you know, back in school I used to play saxophone. I started with a clarinet, and I played the saxophone, and I was pretty good. But that was years and years ago, and I probably lost it all. I definitely lost it all due to having not played anything in, like, tens of years. But sometimes I wonder what would have happened with my life if I continued down that, you know, that field rather than going into drawing all the time instead. But, you know, that happened because basically, you know, back then I could, the instruments were with the school, and I played with the school, renting their instrument to practice and whatnot, but, like, I couldn't afford to buy a real live baritone saxophone. And it just kind of fell in disuse. So yeah, I don't know. Alternate. That's an interesting alternate account I would like to meet. Maybe the one that kept playing music. What he was occupying. Like, did he become a super nerd like me, or did the fact that he had to play music all the time? Well, I know there are music nerds, so that probably didn't affect anything. Man, making me question my reality here. What's the deal with airline food? Asked Philby Pot. Fun fact, I have no idea what's the punchline of the what's the deal with airline food joke. I know it's associated with Seinfeld, and it's associated with, you know, basically corny, bad, stupid, cliche comedy, but I have no idea what's the punchline of that thing, and apparently I don't want to do the research, because it's funnier to just have it exist out there in the world without thought. What? Have you ever teamed up with Golden Age Raocow from Earth 2? Also asked Philby Pot, and the answer is no, alas. Never did. Never had a chance. Earth 3 once, and Earth 5 we play Frisbee together, but not Earth 2. Cow! I've been listening to the Cortex videos, and they're pretty neat. Growing up, I was a little shy of trying D&D style tabletop gaming, since I thought I would have no idea what I was doing and would screw up everything. Kinda like how the Cortex game looks like it's going. Smiley face emoticon, that's what he wrote literally. I mean, no offense, the videos are very entertaining, but the in-game situation always seemed to get worse and worse. Is this just a representative of how these games can go? Or is this just because the group isn't experienced beside Horikawa, or due to some difficult character traits, or are you messing around, not taking things too seriously, or what? Asks D. Honestly, it's probably a little bit of everything in that big list you made. I mean, I do not have a lot of experience with tabletop gaming, but from what I know and what people have told me, it is not unusual for things to spiral into weird ways in completely unpredictable fashion. And that's what makes it fun, I believe. Well, I mean, some people would argue, like some people like the dungeon crawling aspect and kind of like limit the story to a minimum for more an aspect of fighting critters and solving puzzles. But what I find, but like, what makes a Cortex or like a tabletop run superior to a video game is that since there is mechanic, but there are no level, that there is essentially an infinite amount of stuff, like it's an infinitely large world. Lets you go into really strange directions, and that's the key to making it really interesting, I believe. It's true that we're not taking it super serious, but like we're not trying to sabotage the game other than following the prescriptions of our characters. Like, of course, our character builds are not helping us in any way, but I mean, that's what makes it fun. If our goal was just to efficiently make it to point B all this time, it would be a completely different game. Maybe it'd be more effective, like it would still probably be fun, but I don't know if it would be as entertaining, at least for an audience. So you guys are kind of lucky in that end, maybe. But yeah, you kind of answered yourself. Favorite classic rock album? Ask Michael Wataharu. I don't know. I don't know. Classic rock I have eaten through compilation discs and cassettes. And now that we are in the modern age, piecemeal, song by song, so I wouldn't be able to give you an answer there, alas. Sorry. And how many penguins is too many penguins? As a lovely penguin? None. You can't have too many penguins. It's a trick question! To add the trick... Nah, man. I screwed up how I was gonna end this thing. Gosh darn it, the lovely penguin, which I noted as the lovely penguin somehow. I made a typo in your name. Now the world is gonna be destroyed by Mothra again.